Salute, salute, Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Welcome into another show. Hope everyone is doing well. How we feeling? I'm feeling great. The New York Knicks schedule has dropped. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. We're going to get your thoughts. We're going to dissect every single part of this schedule because, man, this is a fun time of year. We can lock in our dates. We can look ahead to what's going to be a huge season for the New York Knicks coming in. A lot of expectations. We've scored 20 national TV games. 13 back-to-backs though. What's good about the schedule? What do I feel like is tough? We're going to talk about it and more. And of course, news overnight, RJ Barrett continues to ball out for Canada as they pulled out the big win against Spain today. 85-80 in overtime. RJ Barrett was efficient again, 18 points, helped the team force overtime to pull it out. Went 2 of 4 from 3, went 4 of 5 from the line. 80% from the line, 50% from 3, and 18 points, 6 of 11 from the field. RJ Barrett continues his hot summer with Canada in the lead up to the FIBA tournament, the World Cup. They got one more warm-up game against the Dominican Republic, another good opponent. We'll talk about that and more. We've got some predictions. Someone on the national media scene has predicted the Knicks to make the NBA Finals against the Phoenix Suns. We'll talk about that person's breakdown and why they think the New York Knicks are ready to face the Phoenix Suns in the finals. But man, let's get into it. Let's break it down. In the words of DX, Knicks won, buzzer beater, always on time, let's get it. Let us know. Continue replay gang in the comments first and foremost. We're going to really dive in and break down every part of this schedule. So it's going to be a big show. I'll add timestamps when this is all done. But just sort of surmising first and foremost, the New York Knicks will open the season at MSG, which is no surprise, against a formidable foe, the Boston Celtics. So that is the season opener. An MSG, that is October 25. MSG, and that is a national televised game. MSG on ESPN. We got a nice breakdown courtesy of Alan Hahn, MSG Networks as well. I'll give you my summarization also, but this is good, as you can see on screen. What are your thoughts first and foremost? Yes, starting out the season against the Seas. We know 2 years ago, Evan Fournier balled out. A lot of fans, viewers in the chat, Knicks Streets were in the building that night where Evan Fournier went off, double overtime. That was one of the best season openers in recent memory. And we're ready to do it all again. October 25 at home, which is great. You always want to see our home opener be the season opener as well. Early in the season, the Knicks play 5 of their first 9 games at home, which is going to be good. Some tough games there. We'll go through each month tonight in the live stream, and we'll go through each breakdown of each month's schedule, but 5 of the first 9 at home. The other big story is TNT, ESPN, ABC. The New York Knicks have scored at least. I say at least because we know throughout the regular season they can add more games, and best believe I think the Knicks will be added more games as they continue to improve, and showcase what they do. But 20 national televised games, which is great. I know some of you out there, you might not have MSG, you might not be able to afford it. It's always good to have national televised games as well as MSG. You got the choice, so that's great. What do we think about that? I predicted it. I said 15 to 20 national televised games we'll get. And what did we get? We got 20. And I think we'll end up probably more, like I said. Salute quiet money, Fabian. What's good? How we feeling about this? Also, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know if you're planning to attend a particular game in this schedule. We'll break down the holiday games, of course. The 25th straight year, MLK Matinee Day against the Magic at MSG. So that's great. Salute to that. The Knicks do not play on New Year's Eve, though, this year. So we can be with our family, maybe our non-Knicks family, our blood family as well. But we play on New Year's Day, 3 p.m. New Year's Day at MSG against Mini as well. The All-Star Weekend is in Indiana, Feb 16 to 18. What else stood out to me? I told you I always look at how the season ends, not just really how it begins. An interesting point is that the New York Knicks will play the Chicago Bulls 3 times in the final 6 games. 3 times in the final 6 games. Can you believe that? Can you dig it? What do you think about that? I think that it's going to be good because I feel like towards the end of the season, Chicago is either going to be in a situation where they're tanking, possibly, or they've traded Zach LaVine. So I feel like that's a good end to the season. Chicago 3 times in the final 6 games. And I'll break down, like I said, month by month. This is the very end of the season, April. The blue is the home games. Orange is the away. So a couple tough games there. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Yeah, a little tough. Quiet Money says, yeah, to start the season. We'll get into it. But yeah, we'll continue to talk about RJ Barrett's performance. I want to get your thoughts. You know, we know the FIBA game's slightly different. The 3-point line's closer in. You could be more physical. You could get away with a little bit more as well. But yeah, it's always good to see our New York Knicks ball on a big stage. Obviously, we know we have Christmas Day, MLK Day, New Year's Day, Easter Sunday. We're versus Oklahoma City, which is great. One thing to note, though, there are some teams, first and foremost, where they've only revealed 80 games, so there's 2 more games that we don't know. The reason being they're waiting for the NBA Cup pool games to be decided before they add those extra 2 games. But there are quite a few teams we only play 3 times in the Eastern Conference as well. So I want to look into that and explain why. Right, so the team, New York Knicks, will face each Eastern Conference team 4 times, with the exception of Atlanta. We only play them 3 times. Cleveland, we only play them 3 times. Washington, 3. Miami, Detroit, and Indiana, 3 times. So that's notable. Unfortunately, I would have loved to be able to play Detroit 4 times. Would have loved to be able to play Washington 4 times. But we only play the Heat 3 times in the regular season. So that could end up being good. We only play Atlanta 3 times and Cleveland 3 times. So that's something worth noting, again, to point out. But we know the New York Knicks are going to have to handle their business, you know, have a great season. No doubt they will. And I think it's going to be a successful one, regardless. Victor Wembanyama comes into MSG early, November 8. So all you fans out there, if you season ticket holder or you're planning a game early, that could be a good game to see Victor Wembanyama in action. You know, we know the Knicks will probably beat the Spurs. I would expect them to. Now, 13 back-to-backs. That stands out to me as the toughest part about this schedule. A lot of these back-to-backs are early. 8 back-to-backs in the first 2 months. 8 out of the 13. So that's going to be tough. What else is tough? We always look at the road trips, fam. 2 5-game road trips, which is what you kind of expect, but at least there's no 6-game road trips. So 2 5-game road trips as well. Everyone else that's joining in, coming in, welcome in, salute. The streets are buzzing, smashing that like button for Knicks fam. Yeah, 20 national games, that's great. I reckon we'll get more with that. I like the fact that we play the Chicago Bulls 3 times in the final 6 games. That's going to be a possibly cushy end to the season. We host Joel Embiid for a 2-game series later in the season in March. We play the Easter Sunday night versus Oklahoma at MSG. We're off New Year's Eve as well. And like I said, we've only got the 80 games right now. So yeah, the 3 back-to-backs are pretty tough. 8 back-to-backs, 13 back-to-backs overall is pretty tough. Buzzer's going early with the 50 plus, salute. We've got receipts right now. Everyone else, give us your win projection. I've gone 48. But like I said before, there's been an a national media person, Bobby Marks, right? This has just dropped. Obviously, they always do their survey, their season preview, and he's got which regular season game is an early NBA Finals matchup. Kevin Pelton says Nuggets at Celtics. But Bobby Marks has gone Phoenix at New York. But what's happening with Bobby Marks? He's becoming more of a Knicks fan right now. But you can't hate on that. He says star power versus roster continuity. Exactly what I've been preaching. I've penciled in those both teams early to represent each conference in Dune. The styles of how the 2 rosters were built are totally opposite. The high-spending Suns went all in, but the Knicks, on the other hand, more conservative. 13 returning players that lost to Miami, outside of Dante. What are your thoughts towards that, Knicks fam, as we continue to chop this up? Eastern Conference Finals is very realistic, but then if the chips fall, we make it to the NBA Finals. So this could be the beginning of more respect, more predictions like this from media personalities, NBA personnel, etc. So, but the New York Knicks obviously have to start well and build on the respect that the New York Knicks have gained. Last season, we build, we move, we continue to build on what we have. And I think, the continuity is going to help us a lot. So all in all, really happy with the season opener at home versus Boston. We also play Boston twice in the preseason. So it's going to be a lot of green. It's going to be a lot of New York Knicks versus green this year. We have Milwaukee on Christmas Day as well. We broke down the NBA Cup format as well. We know the games are in between. So, let's get into it. October, November 1st. Like you see, blue is the home games. Yep, blue, New York Knicks blue. We got Boston, Mini, Boston, and Washington. Those are the 4 preseason games you see. I like that. Like I said, I like tougher competition. I like the fact that we can, pit ourselves against the best, or supposedly the best in the East early, right? I think Tom Thibodeau's already going to have that rotation ready, given the fact that there's very minimal disruptions. And I think the New York Knicks will be ready to start their season really when the preseason comes, really. There's probably not a lot to do in training camp if we're keeping it a buck, right? Everyone else is coming back. Now, hopefully we get word that Tom Thibodeau's added to his staff. That would be great. Maybe some offensive help. maybe we do try a few new things, hopefully, on the offensive side. But like we said, 5 of the first 9 are at home. But the first game, Boston, first game of the season, we talked about 2 years ago. Let's hope it's a repeat, but in regulation. Will Evan Fournier be on the team? We remember that, fam. Then, little tough, we go on the road for 3 games, back-to-back, ATL, New Orleans. Like Quiet Money said. But we can get it. We can sweep those 2. We don't know if Zion's going to be playing. Health's going to be a factor in New Orleans. Big season for them. And then a couple days off, and then Cleveland away as well. That's going to be good, facing Cleveland early in the season. Right? They're going to be out for revenge. And then Cleveland at home. Then Milwaukee away. Then the Clippers and San Antonio Spurs at home. So that's 5 of the first 9 at home. But a couple of tough road trip back-to-backs as well early. Salute Danny, salute Mike, what's good? How are we feeling about this? Throw out any questions you have about this schedule, anything you want to know. We'll talk about it. Your initial thoughts, do you like it? I think that's a pretty solid start to the season. I can't complain. It could be a lot worse. It could be better, but it could be worse. So, yeah, 5 of 9 at home. Let's get off to a great start. Assuming we beat Boston at home, like I said, I think we can sweep Atlanta, New Orleans. We know we can sweep Cleveland because we did it. Those 2, I mean, I know we can beat Cleveland. Milwaukee away early is going to be good. That's also going to be good. That's what I like about this. Playing 2 of the best teams in the East very early. See where we're at early in the season, and then we know we continue to improve as the season goes. And then I like the Clippers and Spurs at home. Those are going to be 2 very winnable games, and of course Charlotte. Then things turn, and we go on a 5-game road trip. Boston, Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte, and Minnie. So that's the first of the 2 5-game road trips. Doesn't look so scary to me. Like I said, Boston again, Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte, and Minnie. If you're thinking about a road trip, if 4 of the 5 of them, Atlanta, Washington, Hornets, and Minnie, that's great. That's not scary at all. So, yeah, it's good to get that out of the way early. And hey, let's say the New York Knicks are probably doing really well by this stage, I would hope. Probably minimum 3-4 losses. Maximum 3-4 losses in this stretch, if all things are going well. And then a big homestand. Again, Miami, Phoenix, Charlotte, and Detroit. So, if I have to rate our beginning to the season, October, November, in terms of like ease of schedule, I would have to give it a 7.5, 8. 7.5 or 8. Maybe even 8.5 in terms of ease of schedule. Tell me if you disagree, you agree. What do you think? Buzzer beater salute. Randall. I think Randall is doing well. He's going to be on track for camp. So, yeah, no worries at all. Julius is going to be here. He's going to be ready. Yep. Wow factors in the building. Salute. What's good, Danny? Yep. Danny says, do you think Quickly gets traded or re-signed? I think he gets re-signed. Danny. That doesn't rule out a trade later, but I think he'll get re-signed first. And I think he'll stay in New York Knicks. for this season. That's my bold prediction as well. Haven't heard anything, but I just feel like the front office is all in on Emmanuel quickly. I know he wants to start. He's got aspirations in the league, but I think that's a little later down the track. And I think Emmanuel quickly will stay in New York Knicks for this full season. What do you guys think? Low keys in the house, salute. Wow Factor says the problem is the Knicks don't have enough assets to get the big name players without giving up Brunson. You've seen the price paid for KD. I think that's one of the reasons we haven't pulled off a big trade yet. In terms of, it's very difficult dealing with these front offices, Leon Rose negotiating. I feel like if the Knicks make that swing, it's the draft picks that is the best thing going for the New York Knicks. We broke down the picks recently. The New York Knicks have so many draft picks. A lot of them are protected, but of course all of our own draft picks in the next 7 years we have as well. So I think that's what's going to probably entice some teams that's probably trying to rebuild. Chicago is really one that I could really see, probably the most likely. I know we heard the stuff about Zach LaVine. But yeah, like I said, closing the season out, welcoming everyone that's joining. The final 6 games of the season, we play Chicago 3 times in the final 6 games. And if Chicago are tanking, or they've already traded Zach LaVine by then, that's going to be good. I'm expecting the Chicago Bulls to be bad once again. So that is really something to look for with that situation. I'm not the biggest fan of LaVine, but if I feel like there's a star that's the most attainable right now, if Chicago start bad, they'll be looking to liquidate. They'll be looking to sell their assets 100%. I think the time's getting closer, and I think Toronto is the other one. So yeah, I rated those 2 months. Beginning of the season, ease of schedule, I think it's around about at 8. So that's great for New York Knicks fans, for us. Let's get it. We move over to December, January now. This is where the in-season tournament pool games, championship games sink in as well. So looking at December, we got Toronto away. Then there's that break, which is good. Actually, if the New York Knicks aren't in the championship rounds, we will probably get a little break, or that might be where they insert those 2 missing games. So we'll see. We'll see with that. But then we're back home for Toronto. Then another West Coast, another road trip, a West Coast trip, this one. So 2 out of the 5-game road trips are early in the season. Get them out the way. Let's get that out the way. Let's sweep them. And then let's focus on finishing the season strong. So that's Utah, Phoenix, Clips, Lakers, Brooklyn as well. Not to sound overconfident again, but nothing really scares me with that. We know we were able to defeat even Phoenix last year, the Clippers, Utah. Utah don't scare me at all. And then obviously the Lake Show and Brooklyn is going to be good. Loki says only Boston games we got to worry about. Yep. You feel like we match up well against Milwaukee, the Heat, Cleveland? Yep. Yeah, absolutely well. Embiid is the closest thing to being asking out very soon. This Harden thing is an absolute mess, and I do think that the New York Knicks are saving those draft picks. They're ready if and when Embiid asks out. It's an absolute mess right now. He's calling the GM a liar, and that's not good for business. So look out for the Philadelphia 76ers. I have them slid all the way down to 5th right now in my power rankings. Yep. Yep. keep adding your questions. We'll get through it once we're broken down more of this schedule as well. So yeah, we got that West Coast trip in December, and then another little road trip, OKC, Orlando, Indy. Orlando, Indy, I'm expecting us to beat, so that's okay. Then, probably the best thing about this entire schedule, ladies and gentlemen, is January. Look at all those home games in blue. So what's that? That's 10 home games in January, which is great, compared to 6 away. So 10 home games compared to 6 away. So we've got to capitalize. We should be clicking by then. We should be ready for All-Star break. We should be in the top 3 seed in the East by then, I feel. If everything's going well, we should be top 3 seed by the end of January. It don't get much easier than that in terms of home games. 10 out of the 16. Yeah, always looking at those Milwaukee games. Absolutely, yep. Salute Charisse. Yep, definitely Milwaukee. I love beating them. They got concerns of their own, though. Middleton. Giannis. That's going to be a fascinating storyline to watch. We'll look at the media predictions, but most people have Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, not Milwaukee. So that's something to watch. Most def. Danny's also asking, do you think we have the best pieces out of all the teams to acquire Embiid? If he wants out, what package do you think it would take? That's a big question, a good question. I think the New York Knicks can compete. I'll put it that way. I think we can compete with any team's package, really. I think the struggle would be potentially Philadelphia being hesitant trading him within the division. I think that's going to be more of the toughest situation. If you're a general manager, you always got to try to think about what they're thinking. They don't want to risk losing their job. And one of the quickest ways to lose your job is to trade a player in your division. Like you normally want to send them out west, right? If you trade Joel Embiid, you want to make sure you only see him twice a year and send him out west. But having said that, the New York Knicks can put a hell of a package on the table. Probably put every young player, their pick of whichever young player they want. I don't think anyone would be off the table, including Grimes, including Barrett, including Quickly. Not saying I would include all of them, but I'm saying Leon Rose would say, we want Joel Embiid. Which young player do you want? And then it's going to be a boatload of draft picks, right? If Rudy Gobert can get 5 picks, it's probably going to be 4 or 5 picks as well. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Embiid situation. Now, we could easily make it a big 3-way trade as well. Get other teams involved. That might help. That might help things rather than a 1-for-1 swap. So, yeah, we wait to see. But I think it's going to be a storyline all year, heading right up until till camp as well with that. So I'll rate December, January in terms of ease of schedule. And I'll probably have to put it at probably 8 again, maybe 7.58. Just because I think the home stand is great, but then there's the couple of West Coast trips as well, or road trips, so balances it out. But I think 8's pretty solid in terms of ease of schedule. Yep. Next up we have obviously Feb, March. So looky here. We got a nice homestand. Indiana, the Lakers, Memphis, Dallas, Indy, right before the All-Star break. So that's looking good. I'm liking February so far. Houston, Orlando on the road, right before the All-Star break. No back-to-backs, really, except one back-to-back. And then after All-Star break, straight away in action at Philly. Could Joel Embiid have been traded by All-Star break? Not likely. But does Philadelphia implode by then? Do they look different? That's a big possibility. Philadelphia right after All-Star break. I'm assuming James Harden probably doesn't make it into camp. Even if you guys want to know, I think James Harden's probably is not going to play another game for Philadelphia. Whatever's going to happen, man. Fireworks, sparks are going to fly with that. And then there's Boston again, Detroit, Pelicans, Warriors. So I really like February. I'll have to rate that a 9 in terms of ease of schedule. Then we've got March. We've got Cleveland away. Then another 4-game homestand. The Hawks, Magic, Sixers, and Sixers. A home and home, really. But both of them are at home. So I'm loving that. Then there's a 4-game West Coast trip. Portland, Sac, Warriors, and Denver. Okay, so that's the most difficult part of the season, I would say. Sacramento, pretty good now. Portland, very beatable. But Sacramento, the Warriors, and Denver, tough, but only 3 games, so that's cool. Then back home, Brooklyn and Detroit. Hopefully stack up the dubs there. Toronto, the Spurs away. And then Oklahoma at home. So yeah, I would rate March probably a 7 in terms of ease of schedule. And then, like I said, we got April to finish the season. And I love this. I love this into the season because I don't think Chicago is going to be very good at all. And the odds of them being good right up until the final week of the season is very slim. And we got 2 of those games away. And the final game of the season at home. Home to Chicago. So, again, anyone just joining in, one of the best parts of the schedule, I think, is 3 games out of the last 6 are against Chicago. We may have even taken Zach LaVine off their hands, possibly by then. It's a possibility. So I rate April 8 point, probably a 9 in terms of ease of schedule. Mike's asking, can Randall and Embiid play together? Do we keep Randall in an Embiid deal? 110%. Julius Randall is not going in an Embiid deal. I'll be absolutely shocked. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on whether Julius will be in any Embiid deal. I would have to think if they've reached the very last resort to trade Joel Embiid, they're gonna try to build for the future. So that's what I'm gonna have to think. I know there's gonna have to be salary needed to make up Embiid's salary, so it's probably gonna be, like I said, one of the reasons we extend quickly is because we want to keep quickly, but because we may also need quickly salary, a larger salary in a blockbuster deal. RJ Barrett would probably be in a deal for Embiid as well, but I can't see Julius Randle being in the deal. What are your thoughts? Wow asks, do you think the new Suns, Beal, Booker, and KD example, and Utah Watanabe are a problem as they didn't have these guys last year? Yeah, I think the Suns did solid. I think they definitely did the best they could out of a loaded roster. Um, I still got Denver, I think, as the team to beat, but it's going to be really close. I think this is their best shot. This year is their best shot. Yeah, and like we saw, Bobby Marks has predicted the Phoenix Suns make it out of the West to face the New York Knicks out of the East. So that's respect right out of the gate from Bobby Marks as well. I don't know the context of this sort of thing. It doesn't appear like it's a bold prediction in terms of like, was he asked a bold prediction? He was just asked what regular season game is a finals matchup. And he's gone all out saying the New York Knicks. So yeah, that's respect, and that's good. He thinks the New York Knicks will be good, great this season. Like I basically predicted, man, top 3 seed at this moment. My power rankings on screen right now. I've got Milwaukee still 1, but it's very health dependent. And then we've got the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. I'm still skeptical on a Dame trade to the Heat and what that looks like and how that's going to help the Heat in the regular season. As well, they've lost a lot of toughness. They've lost a lot of shooting. They've lost a lot of defense with Gabe Vincent, Max Strauss as well. So we know Vegas has projected the New York Knicks over-under at 45, 44.5. Some have it 45. I'm taking the over on that. I'm going 48 wins right now, but with a clear opportunity for 50 plus. Yeah, the continuity factor is huge. So yeah, that's April. That's the season. That's broken down. I feel even better breaking this down with you all now after this. Yeah, there's tough parts of every schedule. But if you look at it, you tick all the boxes. The opening of the schedule's reasonably friendly. The end of the season's reasonably friendly. Now the 13 back-to-backs, we have to talk about that. You know, back-to-backs we know, can be tough. 8 of them are early in the season. But that's why we have depth, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you talk about, okay, should quickly start some games, should quickly play 35 minutes some games. Should Randall rest and RJ Barrett just play 40 minutes as the young bull? We know RJ Barrett's young, he's fit, he's good for 40 minutes a night. We need to be smart. These back-to-backs, let's either try to rest Brunson, rest Randall, vice versa. Rest Barrett, play Randall, however way you want to do it. Play DiVincenzo 30 minutes. There's a reason we got this guy in. There's a reason we're paying these guys as well. So that's the way I look at this regular season. We've got great opportunity to win 50 games, and we got great depth. So what's good? 19 com man, Knicks 1, Knicks 26 champs. Salute 19. We got 13 back-to-backs, fam, which is the toughest part of this schedule. 8 back-to-backs in the first 2 months. But like we broke it down, there's really good parts of the schedule, fam. January, we have 10 home games out of 16 in the month of January. So that's good. We just got to get through November and December. And of course, there's going to be a lot of motivation for these players on national TV. When you're playing 20 plus games on national TV, including all of these marquee holidays, Easter, Christmas, MLK, New Year's Day, these players know that there's going to be a lot of eyes on them and a lot of action, a lot of spotlight. So that's great. We only play the Heat 3 times. We only play the Hawks, the Cavs 3 times, Detroit 3 times, unfortunately. But two big 5-game road trips um, early in the season, and then we get that out of the way. But finishing with 3 out of the final 6 against Chicago is good. Uh, so yeah, that's what I like about it, fam. Uh, Speaking of liking, right, RJ Barrett, for anyone that missed it, went ballistic again. Um, Now we know FIBA, is a shorter game, so Barrett played 30 minutes, didn't play very heavy minutes, but 18 points, right at that sweet spot. 6 of 11 from the field, great, 57%. 2 of 4 from 3, 50% from 3. So it really does look like the FIBA 3-point line is a factor at the minute. And also RJ Barrett's work ethic, the shooting, the form looks pretty good. Slicing to the cup there. We talked about last show how the international competition doesn't look at the scouting report as much as NBA folk. So Barrett will probably be able to get left a lot more against these guys. There, he's just bullying that guy. That bucket was to force overtime late. That was clutch. And then we have the steal, the breakout, and the slam. So good for so many things for Barrett to see the shooting, the confidence, playing good competition, 30-minute reps as well, 30-minute game, and getting to the line, 80% from the line, 4 of 5. So when he is getting to the line, he's capitalizing as well. So this has been a trend now. This hasn't just been one game. This has been 3 above average, good, great games from Bully Barrett. And like you see on screen, they face one more opponent before the tournament, which is Dominican Republic. Another great opponent, facing Karl Anthony Towns, Al Horford, Chris Duarte, Montero, and the rest of the squad. So Jamal Murray has pulled out for Team Canada. He's great at pulling out for international competition, is Jamal. He's an NBA champ, so I don't know the full story behind it. But Canada moves without him. It's going to be an SGA Barrett show, taking over the offense. 19's got us at 45 and 35. This is without making a mid-season trade. Appreciate you, man. That's very good. I've got 48. I actually had 47, 48, but I decided 48. So, yep. Yep. I'm with that. I'm with the 47 wins. Also without the mid-season trade. What percentage would you put that we make a mid-season trade? We have made a trade for a few times the last few years. We brought back continuity. I could see us either making a minor trade, like the Fournier one at the break, if he's not traded already, or nothing else except a major trade. Because minutes are scarce, the rotation's stacked, and I think there's just not as much need right now with these New York Knicks. Yeah, especially if we're doing well. We know the front office has some apprehension, shaking up chemistry. And they always want to make sure if they are bringing in someone, it's the right guy now. They don't want to repeat of the Cam Reddish thing with Tibbs, Fournier, Kemba, Derrick Rose. They won't bring in someone unless they're planning to play them. And with a 9-man rotation that's stacked, the only player they're going to bring in is probably a star in a consolidation trade. So, yeah. Not to say it's not likely. I think we still could make that trade in season. But, yeah, I do think that's something to watch. Depending on how well we're doing, or obviously if we're not doing as well as expected, then yeah, all things are on the table for a deadline trade. Um, but this is great for RJ and the New York Knicks for so many reasons. Obviously, if he balls out in the season, it's going to help trade candidate talks potentially for him or for some other New York Knicks. If the Knicks are planning to keep RJ. Buzzer asking, PJ Washington, why didn't the New York Knicks go in as the backup for? Yeah, that's a good question. I think the Knicks feel like they're probably set. I think they'll probably be looking at more of the three, but PJ Washington, the salary I think is the biggest drawback, because the New York Knicks, yeah, they're right at the tax. So I think unless they can swap Fournier out, they won't have enough money to make that happen. Yeah, percentage-wise, 19 got 15% that we get a superstar trade, 35% on a role player at the 4 or 3 if injuries happen. Yep, great. Yep. Yeah, that's good. The other great thing about Barrett's FIBA action is he's getting these opportunities to be on the ball. I don't really care about Canada's, chances to win this thing, but without Jamal Murray, that just means more usage for Barrett. So, right, if he's going to be in FIBA, he's going to risk maybe, playing a lot of games, potentially getting hurt. For the New York Knicks' benefit, at least he's on the ball a lot. He's getting usage. He's doing well. He's efficient. All of those things, right? Great feed there for the Oop, for Dwight Powell there as well. I could see Bully Barrett eating more in the World Cup too, because you can be physical. You can be more physical, less fouls on you. Specifically offensive fouls. He could really charge into that paint. Most of these guys may not have the 6'7", 6'8" frame to hold Barrett back. As you see this guy, yeah, he's just on skates. That guy's backpedaling, trying to stop that drive as well. One thing I'm curious to see is that the defenses will go zone a lot in FIBA. Too. The 3-point line's closer. Spacing is bad. Spacing is a lot worse in FIBA. So a lot of these teams that aren't very talented will go zone. And what's that going to do? That's going to force RJ Barrett to shoot more 3 balls. So far, it's working a treat. He's very efficient. I think the last 3 games, he's shot 50% from deep or higher. And tonight, 6 of 11 from the field, so above 50% from the field, 80% from the line as well. Not a lot of things look too different. He just looks a lot more confident. There you see another drive. He's just doing what he does well. Had a few great assists. The defense, there's steal there, right? Uptick with the defense. That's something I'm really looking out for RJ Barrett, right? We get a significant increase in his defense, man. With DiVincenzo here as well, with Hart, with Grimes. Man, that adds 4 perimeter defenders on this team. Plus perimeter defenders. Then you got Mitch, you got Sims, you got Hartenstein. We got mobile bigs that also can contain dribble penetration some as well. We could see a Tom Thibodeau defensive masterclass this year if he's got the tools. These guys that can do what he needs. Pack the paint, close out hard, stop dribble penetration, force teams to shoot threes a lot. I know, some fans don't like that scheme defensively with Tom Thibodeau, allowing guys to shoot threes. but it's worked out pretty well so far. When you let the right people shoot, and you can rebound. You got Hart, you got Robinson, you got Randall. The New York Knicks were in the top three, I think top five in the league in rebounds. I don't expect that to change at all. Maybe we'll be in the top one. DiVincenzo's a good rebounder. RJ Barrett's a solid rebounder. Like I said, Randall's an excellent rebounder at the four. Mitch and Hartenstein. So for the Knicks this season, it'll be more of the same. Like just do what worked well. Double down, I guess, on the regular season. Playoffs is going to be different. We need to shoot the hell out of the ball in the playoffs. But the strengths for the New York Knicks: defense, rebounding. We're probably going to be more isolation. We'll lose a little bit of fast break action with Obi missing. That's one question I want to ask you guys. You know, knowing our rotation, knowing our players now, do you feel like we'll miss anything from Obi? If you feel like we will, what do you think we'll miss from Obi? We do have that small hole at the power forward now. We got Nathan Knight, we got Roby. Depending on what you think of them, I would expect preseason's going to be good to see these guys. I'm a little more confident on them than some. I feel like, we can't guarantee that they're going to produce and fill in, but I feel like they're capable of. They've had some good moments in the league. Has Roby and Nathan Knight. But I'm looking more at Barrett. I'm looking more at Josh Hart playing the four at the minute, unless Leon makes another signing. We've still got a lot of veterans available, right? This James Harden thing, Dame Lillard, right? It's holding everything up right now, right? Gorgie Jang, JaMychal Green's available, etc. But yeah, this James Harden thing is set to explode right now. This Ramona Shelburne saying it's just the beginning, right? This guy has no shame in doing what he needs to do to get out, right? He'll stay in China, even, I think, if he wants to. He'll keep dropping videos that go viral from China. He might put on extra weight. But get your popcorn ready, because this just makes things more plausible that Joel Embiid asks out, right? Not saying it's going to happen this year, but man, what's happening cannot be good for Philly fans. I don't feel for Philly fans because they went through the whole process. They've been good for a while now, but GMs that wait too long, right? You got to rectify these tough situations, right? See, the Knicks had people like Fournier. They had people like Kemba, Cam Reddish. They dealt with it. There's a little bit of turbulence, collateral, but Leon Rose traded those guys, except for Fournier, but I think he will trade Fournier. But yeah, with Morey, he's a little bit more stuck in his ways. He's not going to trade Harden unless there's a deal that he really likes. So yeah, that's going to be interesting in terms of that, in terms of what we see come up. So yeah, salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. The schedule's dropped. And I'm looking forward to this. Let us know if you guys are planning to attend a particular game. There's so many to look for. Season opener stands out to me. That first one against Boston is great. I think it'll be a result like 2 years ago. It'll go to the wire, but I think the New York Knicks will pull it out. The MSG crowd will be juiced up for a huge season ahead. We'll have faced Boston twice already in the preseason. Yep. Salute G-Man 78. Let's get it. Appreciate you. Yep, appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining, everyone. Love the conversations as well. Everyone that doesn't make the live stream, I want to hear from you still in the comments. Appreciate it. I'll reply to the comments. But for this season, the schedule hasn't changed my projection, which is similar to 19 Comman. He got 47, I got 48. Let us know. With this schedule now, overall, in terms of ease of schedule, I'm going to give it a 7.5. In terms of ease of schedule, 7.5. It could maybe be an 8. So in terms of, it's better than what it could have been. There's some tough parts of that with the back-to-backs, 13. But we've just been given a lot of good things with national games, end of the season, the month of January with 10 home games out of 16. Right, if we don't finish with 45 plus wins, something will have gone wrong. Yep. Yeah, MB, salute, Israel. Unlike Zion and Ja Morant, RJ never got to have his own team. Yeah, he's fitting in. Playing a role within a team is tougher than people think. I mean, he's playing next to Randall and Brunson, two of the highest usage players as well. You got to adapt your game a little as well, which is not easy for some. Learning to catch and shoot, cut off the ball, defend, the best wing. My biggest reason I'm optimistic that RJ, can reach a great level is because of his age. There's things he needs to work on still, significant things, but at 23, the things that he's already good at and great at 23, you can really work with that as a player to help you, help your team win. I talked about it last show. The New York Knicks finished with 47 wins. RJ Barrett was a big piece, and with a down year defensively as well. So, yeah, some uptick in defense, offensive efficiency, shooting, shot creation. There's a world where we really could have our big three. People call it mid three. I guess it just depends on, where the New York Knicks finish. How far do you think they can go, right? Within points away from Game 7 of making the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, injuries, a lot of things against the New York Knicks. Matchups, Spoelstra, Thibodeau. Right, I think in terms of the roster, it's very well rounded. I think Isaiah Hartenstein, want to give him some love because he was tough early, but the way Isaiah Hartenstein finished the season was a real positive for the New York Knicks. Mitchell Robinson missed time, and he filled in a lot. We can't forget that. There was a big point of the season. Mitch went down. Isaiah stepped up after he healed from the injury. Also, Emmanuel Quickley, a fully deserving player that could start on a team. Some team in the NBA, Emmanuel Quickley could definitely be starting. He's the sixth man. He produced when he did start. When Brunson missed time as well. So, how many teams in the NBA have that kind of luxury where two of your major pieces in your starting five can miss time? Somebody else can just step in, and we don't miss a beat like that. And I really mean don't miss a beat, really. And then you're talking about guys now like Hart, DiVincenzo, that can also finish games for you. Maybe not start, but finish games also. Bench players that can finish games. So it's going to be a real competition in camp for minutes. who can get the early advantage, those kinds of things. One of my breakout players to watch is Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes and Bully Barrett now. Um, After what I'm seeing with FIBA, right? There's a real possibility that Grimes and Barrett is that breakout player. Um, a lot of people felt like the third year is the year a player breaks out. It wasn't to be. The fourth year wasn't quite to be for RJ, although there was improvement. There was some downgrade as well. But the fifth year, a guy who's only 23, younger than Obi, younger than Frank Ntilikina, right? Julius Randle didn't pop till he was 25, 26. So, yeah, this is what I want to see more of. Running the point, running the offense for your team as well, right? Games that don't mean anything for the Knicks, but mean a lot for RJ Barrett, his development, his growth. But yeah, like MB Israel said, appreciate that. Yeah, we got to look at, right, fans are often quite critical. You know, some of it's very warranted, but you're looking at Ja Morant, you're looking at Zion. Now, Ja Morant was probably now deserving of being the number one overall pick. Like he's a superstar in the league. He's got off-court problems, but Zion's a guy that hasn't shown to elevate his franchise, hasn't helped his team yet at all. He's in his fifth year as well. So, do you feel like Zion Williamson should get the same level of criticism RJ Barrett gets, and why? Right. Some parts of RJ's game some people may not like, but he helped the team win last year. He helped the team be successful. Zion Williamson hasn't helped his team yet. Knicks One says Tibbs needs to run an 11-man rotation. Let Dylan Windler replace Fournier, Knight replace Obi, and Scap. Dmitrio Skapensev from the camp invite replace Sims. Yeah, I love your points about Windler, Nate Knight as well. I'm high on those two signings, fam. I really think the Knicks hit with those two-way guys in terms of, they're not really young development guys, but they're guys that can actually step in and be ready to help. Be ready to help for us from day dot. Mel Bester says the schedule seems easier than last season, which was also easy. Knicks got a good chance for the playoffs this season. I'm loving this season already. And DiVincenzo. Yeah, appreciate that. The back-to-backs are difficult. 2 West Coast trips or 2 road trips for 5 games, but all in all, I've given it probably a 7.5 in terms of ease of schedule. The finish is quite easy, and the month of January, probably even the first 2 months too, is probably the highlight because 5 out of the first 9 at home. The first 2 road games are Atlanta, New Orleans, back to back. Right, we could sweep that very easily. Then 2 days off, then Cleveland, home and home. Milwaukee's tough. Then the Clips and Spurs. We could easily win those 2 at home. Charlotte at home. Boston away. But then Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte, Mini on the road. So talk about an easier road trip. By the way, those split cubes are the NBA Cup games that you see from Milwaukee, Washington, Miami, and Charlotte. They're the 4 pool games for the NBA Cup. But I mean, yeah, you look at October, I completely agree. Quite straightforward. November, quite simple, especially that road trip. Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte, and Minnie, right? Maybe not Boston, but if we don't sweep the rest of that, then things aren't going as well as we hoped. um, then a 4-game homestand, which is also great. See, I think I rated this beginning of the season an 8.5 in terms of ease of schedule. Then we look at December, Jan. Now the Knicks will have 2 more games added to their schedule because this is only 80, and I'm assuming it's going to be in the week of the championship NBA Cup week. But outside of that, we get that early West Coast trip out of the way: Utah, Phoenix, Clippers, LA, Brooklyn. But then the end of the month ain't so bad. And then January is probably the best month of the season. 10 home games, 6 away so far as well. So I'll rate that a 7.58. Then we got Feb, March. We got, a pretty good Feb for after All-Star break, before All-Star break. And then the second large road trip in March, a little tougher. But man, do I love April, end of the season. We got Miami away, Sac at home, Chicago, Milwaukee, Chicago away, Boston, Brooklyn, Chicago at home to finish the season. So, yep, great finish to the season. Yeah, all in all, you love to see it. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm hyped. The streets are buzzing. We got this little breakdown from Alan Hahn, which is good. 13 back-to-backs and 1 no-travel situation. A lot of spotlight on the New York Knicks. 20 broadcast national games, TNT, ESPN, and ABC. We host Victor Wembanyama early with the Spurs November 8. Christmas Day game as usual. New Year's Eve off as well. So that's something different this time. LBJ hasn't been at MSG for the last 2 seasons. We host LeBron James on Feb 3rd. That's on ABC. If the New York Knicks are in the top 3 seed, top 4 seed for most of this season, expect us to get more national games, right? The most valuable franchise, the biggest fan base, New York Knicks equal ratings. So we host Joel Embiid in Philly for the 2-game swing at MSG March 10 and 12. Yep, so appreciate the comments. Continue. Any questions, thoughts about this schedule? Season coming up. I've got 48 wins so far. Salute Dirty in the building. Let's get it. Bobby Marks has predicted an NBA Finals matchup. And he's predicted the Phoenix Suns versus the New York Knicks. Right? He's winning, trying to win more credibility with the New York Knicks fan base now. And possibly this is how he genuinely feels. He's been a little bit more optimistic in terms of what the Knicks have been doing. All things go right. Maybe he's factoring in a lot of capitulation with Milwaukee. Sorry, with Boston. KP out. With Philly. And Milwaukee get 1 injury. And the road to the top opens up big time. Suddenly having the Knicks in 3rd in the power rankings doesn't seem so far-fetched right now. Right, Joel Embiid took Philadelphia off of his bio as well. Right, this war between Morey and Harden playing out in the public eye has got to be disgusting for him right now. He's the MVP. Put the team on his back. He's got to seriously be, even if it's just internally or with his agent or his camp, he's got to be seriously questioning, what does this season look like for me now with Philly? Right? Do we have the horses to go all the way? Right? The grind of 4 rounds in the playoffs, 82 games. Right? Even if Harden comes in, he's going to be disgruntled. He's not going to play to his max level, I would assume. Perhaps not even in game shape. Because he really wants out. He's serious about this, going public. And the more public it gets, the more ugly it gets, the better for us. Kristaps Porzingis, don't wish injuries upon anyone, but he's already got plantar fasciitis. Serious enough to miss the World Cup for his country. That's pretty serious. Otherwise, KP would play. And like I said, in fact, Giannis is recovering from arthroscope surgery on his knee as well. So, for the New York Knicks, we know Julius Randle rehabbing from scope surgery on the ankle as well, I think. So, the New York Knicks continuity, again, still looks better than anyone. Miami still got work to do that trade. So, yeah, all things aside, we're looking good, especially with Barrett, potentially the breakout player now. I had Quentin Grimes. I want to see a little more FIBA, but RJ Barrett could be poised to be the Knicks breakout player. When I say breakout, it's going to be probably more tough because, he's already at the, 19 points per game. But when I say breakout, with him, it's probably more of a total package. Whereas Quentin Grimes could be a lot more things. On that note, Dirty says RJ is playing like a grown man on Team Canada, and he's not forcing it. He's picking his spots. I think his ego may have calmed down. I think, a lot of what you said, I agree, but I think the clear defined role for Team Canada is helping RJ a lot. Right? He knows he's the scorer. He's a lead ball handler as well with SGA. In fact, SGA is getting a lot of attention. They're smothering him. New York Knicks have had zone played on them a lot, and RJ Barrett's going to face a lot of zone in FIBA. That's what these teams do. So I think he's going to be familiar. He's going to be prepared. After the Knicks and Tibbs faced a lot of zone. But yeah, we talked about the 3-point shooting line being slightly closer. That could be the factor. Maybe his form with shooting form with Hanlon, his coach. Picking his spots as well. With that, the schedule makers gave people who want Tibbs fired an early gift this year. That's Dirty's thoughts on the early part of the season. There's some tough parts as well, but I feel like Tibbs will be fine. I think Tibbs will be safe. But, the road trip early and the back-to-backs, right? Hopefully, as I said, Tibbs uses our depth. These back-to-backs, we know we got Quickly, can play 30 minutes. Hart, DiVincenzo capable. Isaiah Hart can fill in. I guess the guy who is probably going to need to play every night is Randall, because the backup power forward situation's quite slim. In terms of the schedule, how it's calculated, man, I feel like it's probably, it's definitely a software-based, computerized situation. in terms of the 7 games matchups against 7 playoff teams in a row to start the year, is that tough part as we bring this up. You got Boston, Atlanta, New Orleans, Cleveland, Milwaukee, the Clippers. One of the reasons I like the preseason schedule a lot is because we've got Boston in there twice, right? Let's get ready, treat the preseason like it's the real season, because to me, what good is playing Brooklyn, Washington, Detroit twice going to do for us in the preseason? It's not really going to get you ready for playing Boston early, those kinds of things. So I'm glad we play Boston early in the preseason too, twice. Yeah. Killer says I got to get my cable back by then. Yeah, we got 20 national games. I think we'll get more. There's now MSG Plus. Let us know. Shannon's in the building. Salute. People better put respect on RJ's name. Coming in. Yeah, it's a big year for RJ. But he's helping Canada win. He helped the New York Knicks win. He's playing the role right now. It's not easy again playing next to 2 guys that are very big isolation players as well. I think RJ Barrett's going to have to pick his spots, make quicker decisions as well when he does get the ball to be successful with the New York Knicks as well. But we also might see a tweaked version of Brunson distributing more as well, getting guys looks quicker in the shot clock. Every show I think about something different about FIBA. And another thing that I forget to mention is it's 20-second shot clocks, 10-minute quarters, faster pace, more physical, no 3 in the paint. You can hit the ball off the rim, but 20-second shot clocks. You see these guys, they've got to get into their offense quickly. I still feel good about the start of the season. Not everything's going to be real smooth, but I think you can't complain in terms of plenty of home games. 5 out of the first 9. Obviously, the brutal West Coast trip, or the brutal road trip early. But the first one ain't as bad. Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte, Mini. So, and if you are the Knicks and coming in with continuity, a lot of teams think about their schedule. We're just looking at the Knicks schedule, but we're coming in with continuity that a lot of other teams don't have. So I would expect us to have less learning curve, figure things out early, and come out looking more cohesive. With that said, salute Trini. Also, do people focus on the in-season tourney a little more than others? Let's see. That these games that are in Cube, there are the ones that are the pool games: Milwaukee, Washington, the Heat, and the Hornets. To me, my 2 favorite things about it are the national games, but obviously January. 10 home games out of 16. And I like the way we finish the season, April. Because I don't see Chicago being good by then. You guys let me know. You might be higher on Chicago than I am. They've still got talent. They've got Zach LaVine, Vucevic, DeRozan. No point guard at the moment, really. Lonzo Ball ruled out for the season. But by then, we might even factor in the Knicks have made a blockbuster deal or a deadline deal to improve the team once again. But I know it's not ideal bunching up so many games against the same team in such a short period of time. Kind of a little bit over that, but it's Chicago, so I'm not complaining. They've got Ayo Dosunmu and they've got Caruso. Yep, correct. Uh, they're going to have to make a lot of improvement based on last season as well. So it's going to be tough, especially with guys rising up. I think uh, Orlando, guys like Indiana are also going to be really challenging. Maybe Atlanta Hawks kind of bounce back with a new coach. They got Coach Snyder as well. Obviously, Nick Nurse is coaching Philly now as well, and Griffin is coaching Milwaukee. So, three significant players in the East all have new coaches. So, I want to mention that that's a factor. They could really rectify things with those clubs. They might be more of the same, or they might make a big difference. I think the biggest guy that's probably going to make a difference is Milwaukee. I think Coach Bud, his schemes, everything was just got stale with Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis. Um, Philly, I don't know. Like Nick Nurse is a solid coach, but with the turmoil with Embiid, with Harden, I don't know what is a coach going to be able to do there. If he's got the full squad, he might do better than Doc. But the other one is Snyder. Now, yeah, he could really unlock Trae Young in a new role. Um, that that's going to be fascinating. Um, Killer says, I hope Brunny doesn't overdo it or get hurt. That's the savior, and without him, we wouldn't even be having these discussions. Yep. First and foremost, yeah, we do our blessings before the season. We hope no one suffers any injury. Facts. Um, what I love about Brunson, he's tough. He doesn't like to miss games too. That's in the era of load management. Guys like Kawhi, Zion, Paul George, LeBron, Giannis. Let's appreciate our two lead guys, Randall and Brunson, that love to play 82 if they can. Um, Now, having said that, I understand that they're both 27, 26, 27, so that sure as hell helps a lot compared to being like 33. But hey, they're willing. They're willing to play those big games, those big moments. They love it as well. They're hungry. That speaks to them, and so they should be hungry. There's actually a big financial incentive for those guys. Those guys are going to be super max eligible soon, coming up. So Brunson, we know, underpaid. Randall, kind of underpaid right now with the new CBA. How would you guys feel? Let's say we get the exact same output from Randall and Brunson. Would you be cool with Brunson and Randall earning 50, 60 mil apiece in the new CBA? Not the old one, but the new salary situation. Let's say 2 years from now. Um, you see guys like Jalen Brown earning the bag, right? I got to think Julius Randle had as good of or better season than Jalen Brown. With that said, if he's earning 60 mil, what do you think Randall's value is going to be? Yeah, great point too about possibly Brunson missing time. Mel Bester says that's why we got DiVincenzo. Brunson has Hart and him together. We got Quickly. That's one of the reasons why I think we'll keep Emmanuel Quickly this season. He's pivotal to what we do. And Quickly won't be going unless it's the blockbuster deal. It's that or it's nothing else. It's Quickly's a part of this thing. So unless that blockbuster deal just surfaces from somewhere, Philly, maybe Chicago, somewhere, maybe Cleveland with Spider, but I just don't see it. Minnesota, obviously with Cat, New Orleans with Zion, but I don't think Leon Rose is really looking in that direction right now. It's funny, we don't really hear much about Zion anymore. Like it's a lot about Embiid, some about Levine, a lot about Spider. But if Zion Williamson was to ask out right now, we don't really hear any noise whether or not Leon Rose, would entertain that. Another injury-prone, questionable guy to come in. The talent is there. The talent is off the chart. But yeah, that's that situation. Being down Harden with a guy like Nurse who overuses his top guys is dangerous for the other rotation players. All things stacking up well for us compared to Philly. They obviously got Maxey, but we also know they lost Shake Milton. They lost George's Niang as well, so they've already lost some depth, I think. Also, regarding paying our big guys, it's not my money, Dirty says, as long as Dolan is willing to pay it. Keep the guys together. Yep. We had a story that the New York Knicks, again, MSG Networks, or MSG, the company, made around $800 million, $890 million, I think, this past year. So, yeah, he's got the big expansion with the MSG Sphere in Vegas. But James Dolan's doing all right for money as well. The more the New York Knicks win, MSG Plus is launched. By all reports, it's a fairly steep price. I think it's what, 30 something dollars per month. But you can't put a price on getting your Knicks feed. So yeah, for everyone that needs it, you need it. Yeah, agree. Randall is the only starter. We are in any kind of trouble if he misses time. Having said that, the way Barrett's playing, I could easily see him fill into some 4. But yeah, Randall is a significant part of our regular season and what we do. And it'd be funny because we haven't really, credit to him, we haven't been in a situation where we're even thinking about what we look like without Randall, because for the last 3 years he's played. He's played mostly, but yeah, let's see. But yeah, again, RJ Barrett was 18 points tonight, 6 of 11 against Spain, 57% from the field, 50% from 3, 80% from the line. Overtime win. Canada defeated the Spanish team, and they face the Dominican Republic tomorrow, which is great. RJ Barrett back to back in action. You can catch these games on the Courtside 1891 app as well, live. So let's get it. Jalen Brunson also plays tomorrow night against Greece. So that's great. You can see that on FS1. And then 2 days later, I think, on Saturday night, they'll play on Fox versus Germany. So they got 2 more warm-ups. Canada got 1 more before the tournament begins next Friday, I think August 25th as well. So this is great. This takes us all the way to September 10, right? With preseason a month away after that. We buzzing right now. Smashing that like button, because the New York Knicks have got a lot going for them heading into this season. In my local betting market, they're 44.5 over-unders. I'm taking the overs on that. So I think it's going to climb. So anyone that's thinking about it, make your decision on your win totals. But we have Bobby Marks, talk about he feels like the New York Knicks are poised to make the finals if he's making a prediction out east. You know, could this create that snowball where people, start to look beneath the surface of the East, talking about Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, right? There's cases you can make for all three of those teams regressing some. Maybe he's just higher on Brunson, he's high on DiVincenzo, in that situation. Obviously, we cannot discount the Heat. I did it last season. I'm not going to make that mistake ever again. Right? The Heat could finish 8th, 7th, 6th this season. I'm not going to count them out because we've just seen what they can do with Eric Spoelstra. He can weave magic. Right? I saw Kyle Lowry turn into a player that could help you right before my eyes. A player that was useless in the regular season snap back into Kyle Lowry, Toronto Raptors Kyle Lowry. So yeah, these guys are on cruise throughout the regular season, and I think the Heat are still people to look for. When factoring in these things, but specifically with Barrett, I love the 3-point shooting efficiency, the shot selection. The form looks perfect. The corner three, he's always been the most solid. But they're the hops, the Euro hop step. He's using the floater a lot more. The New York Knicks were elite, the best in the league at floaters last season. The New York Knicks had like 5-6 players in the plus around the league utilizing the floater, with Randall, Hartenstein, Barrett, Brunson, and Quickly. So you're looking for that again. Not barreling into the shot blocker or the traffic, the trees, is a skill that is invaluable around the league. For me, the handles is still something I want to see Barrett tighten up a little, but getting around those picks there, good dribbles through the legs, again, but you always see him going left. So how's that right hand doing, Barrett? Especially for those layups. JB manages the team in a unique way. He sees the floor really, really good as well. A guy who knows when he can pass, when he needs to get the bucket for the team is huge. Also love this point. Guys who playing this level of competition are sharp, like Dirty says, heading into the season. It could help us through the tough schedule. Most definitely. Most def. These guys are going to factor in a lot. You're sharp, your match condition through these reps, through NBA competition, level competition as well. We see Hernan Gomez there, Bo Cruz. Also, Barrett's got points to prove as well. Like, he's got paid. He's got a chip on his shoulder still, I feel. He wants more recognition for this team's success. We see, but really our bench is so versatile. Could Barrett play more minutes with the bench unit? I think most definitely. I would love to create some spacing. So you've obviously got your starting unit with Brunson and Randall doing a heavy load of the scoring. And then off the bench, you could have RJ Barrett doing some post-up, running some offense. Quickly plays amazing off-ball. So you don't necessarily need Quickly on the ball all the time. Quickly as an off-ball player is great. I want to see RJ Barrett handle the ball some off the bench and run the offense as well. We know DiVincenzo is a hell of a catch-and-shoot guy. We know Hart's role. He grabs the rebound. If he's got the ball, he's looking straight up the court, and he's looking to run the fast break. But outside of that, Josh Hart is good in the corners as he cuts. baseline. But I don't want Josh Hart handling the ball off the bench too much. Right? If he catches it, rebounds it, run the break, give it up, get in the corner and move and cut. Cleveland's a team to look for with their upgrades. There already says New York and Cleveland are the only teams with some continuity, which I think Mark's values. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. They've also got young players with significant upside, talking about Jarrett Allen, Mobley, Darius Garland as well. I think Spider is where he's at. I don't know Spider is going to go any other level. Obviously, continuity with Garland might improve. But I think a lot of their success, whether Cleveland can move into the top tier of the East, to me is dependent on Evan Mobley. He was really, really, I'm going to say soft. He was pretty soft in the playoffs in terms of toughness, taking advantage as well with his efficiency. But it's all great things for the New York Knicks and our heroes balling out in FIBA. And it's, we're going to continue to chop up this conversation as we got RJ Barrett play tomorrow against the Dominican Republic. Again, more action. Let's watch it live, break it down. Jalen Brunson also plays tomorrow night against Greece. You can catch that on Fox. That one. FS1, sorry. FS1. The following game is on Fox against Germany. But it's been great breaking down this schedule with you all. Guys that didn't catch the live stream, let us know your thoughts after you've had time to look at it, think about it. Anything you agree, disagree with. In terms of ease of schedule, I think I've given it 7.5 overall. A lot of things to like. Not that many things that I dislike. But I think at the end of the day, the New York Knicks are just going to have to handle their business and get it, right? Big national stage, big spotlight. Take the overs on us. The continuity factor's real for the New York Knicks, right? The way we went out in the playoffs, that's got a chip on these guys' shoulders. They're playing in FIBA. Randall's ready to bounce back from the injury, the rehab. And I think, the East is wide open. Let's get it. With James Harden and that folly continues. We can sit back, eat our popcorn, and know that there's no dysfunction right now, which is great. Bobby Marks predicting the Phoenix Suns matchup in the finals as well. Give me your East power rankings too. I want to know it. Where have you got the New York Knicks situated among the East? And we'll see you soon. Peace, blessings to everyone. Smashing that like button. The streets are buzzing. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.